It seems Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania may have been attacked by a bear, a cocaine bear in fact, and may have stripped it and destroyed it and made it fall off a cliff when it comes to its finances and its gross. Now, most movies do have a drop-off on their second weekend, but this one may have had a pretty steep one, and I think if Marvel does not start to do a better job with their stories, they may be in some trouble. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, the issue I'm kind of having with doing Marvel videos right now is that I made a decision with my fiance that we were not going to support Disney for a year. I'm going to stick to that. But for just some of the things they do, this isn't a political channel, so we won't get too far into it, but I will say that they post things and they've openly admitted things that I've disagreed with. They've gone after bills that are meant to protect children. And so for me personally, my personal decision, I decided to take a break from Disney for a year for that reason. But I will say, I'm the luckiest man in the world, because even though I love all these properties, every time one of the new movies has come out, which that's weird for me, I don't think there's ever been a time in my life where I was not at the movie theater opening night for any Marvel movie. Period. I was always there opening night. I mean, even as a kid, I would beg my father to take me to go see these movies. I mean, I remember my dad would take me out of school on Fridays to go see the movies early. And to see how much, this year, the quality has just dropped. And it makes me go, you know what? Maybe this was the luckiest time I've ever had of just not supporting Disney and not giving them my money, because clearly they have not done what they should. Now, I know a lot of people have still liked this movie. I know audiences seem to have liked it, but I don't know if we can really trust Rotten Tomato scores, period, anyway. But I know the critics didn't. And so let's see how big that drop-off was. So I'll start reading here. According to the numbers, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania grossed $32.2 million in its second weekend, beating out Cocaine Bear, which grossed $23 million, and Jesus Revolution, which brought in $15.5 million. Okay. In its first weekend at the box office, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania brought in $106.1 million at the domestic box office. Whew. Wow. The drop to $32.2 million is a staggering 70%. It's the worst second week drop in the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's crazy. And this is not the only one. Now, from what I've heard, your drop, if it's 50 something percent, that's average. That it may drop in half or a little bit less than half, and that's usually normal. But if you're starting to get 70% drop-offs, that's not good. That's not good at all, especially for these kinds of films. That means that American audiences are checking out. And I don't want that to happen. But at the same time, Disney, you've done what you've done, and it could be getting out for multiple reasons. I know this movie kind of makes some points about socialism or whatever, communism, socialism. It's just kind of an eye roll. A lot of parents don't want to deal with this stuff, and a lot of parents, it may not just be Marvel. It could just be Disney in general. Some of the things they're doing, people like me, I'm not supporting them for right now, and maybe I'm not the only one. I mean, it's very possible. And then you get into the quality. And so people who are normies, people who don't know about some of this stuff, who just want to take their kids to have a good experience, they're not being allowed to have that good experience. And so they're just not going. And maybe they've lost that trust. The reason Guardians of the Galaxy worked And the reason they did so well the first time it came out was because people trusted Marvel. They knew that if they went to a Marvel Studios product, it was going to be good. And it seems that audiences may not trust Marvel that much anymore. So, to compare recent Marvel Cinematic Universe releases, Black Panther Wakanda Forever had a 63% decline. It went from 181 million, basically, to 66. Thor Love and Thunder had a 68% decline. It went from 144 million to 46.6 million. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness declined 67%, 187.4 million to 61.7 million. In contrast, Top Gun Maverick only had a 29% decline. That's really good. That's you have a small decline. That's fantastic. Avatar The Way of Water had a 53% decline. And I would say that seems to be more of a normal number. The higher you get past the 50 number, that's where it's not good. And so here's, I guess, the question, how many times can it say 32 something? Next weekend, will it keep that same kind of number? If it does that, then it'll be okay. But I doubt it. I think it's going to go a lot lower. And so, because people are just not as interested. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I want it to be good. I want this stuff to be good. But seems like, people at Marvel need to be willing to take some risks with the characters. I mean, I've been spoiled about what happens in the movie. And maybe they should just try to really work on some stuff, Maybe what James Gunn says about making sure the scripts are good. Maybe you need to have better writers. I don't know. And the guy that wrote this movie is working on King Dynasty, Avengers King Dynasty. Kind of leaves me worried. I don't know. I saw the end credit scene that deals with King, and it really felt kind of like Rick and Morty-y. And these guys are Rick and Morty writers. I like Rick and Morty, and I know they took the Rick Sanchez, the Council of Ricks or whatever. I know they took that element from kind of Marvel Comics with King and Reed Richard, but yeah, I think they need to have someone with a different perspective. And we'll see what goes on. But anyway, guys, how are y'all feeling about Marvel? Are y'all checked out? Are y'all hoping that they improve? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, I hope you're having a good one. Peace.